Yo, what's up, guys? So today, this video is a special video. Now, the reason why this video is a special video is that I wanted to do this video since I started my channel. It was in my head, and I always said that I was gonna do this video. I just had to find the perfect time, the perfect medium, because I wanted to include everybody. And what I mean by that is that I wanted to start this video when my climate is not too hot and the northern states or the northern places are going into their spring. And so let me explain a little bit of what I was thinking and what maybe we're gonna do. So I wanted to do, and I want to do, a community event. What I mean by that is that I want to show you guys and teach you guys, anybody that wanted to garden and maybe tried it or has never done it. I want to take you guys like baby steps into gardening so you guys could like don't feel too overwhelmed. So my my thought was that I could teach you guys with one of the most easiest vegetables that is out there. So I want to do a challenge slash community event called the Green Thumb Challenge. Now, the purpose of the name is that whenever I show people my garden, whenever I show people pictures of my garden, they give me the same response, and they tell me, "Oh wow, you have a green thumb." And well, in reality, I believe that anybody could have a green thumb. Anybody could grow their own vegetables. It's just a matter of of how you start. Maybe you did try to start a garden vegetable, but like nothing ever grew, and that's maybe because the climate at the time of the climate was bad. Your location was bad. Maybe the seeds weren't the right one. The vegetable wasn't the right one for the season. And so that's why I'm doing this right now. That's why I want to grow this vegetable right now, because I believe it's the easiest vegetable to grow when it's coming into spring in the northern states, and when we are not too hot. We're not into summer over 100 degrees. I want to grow green beans with you guys. I want to grow beans. So there are two types of beans. And before I get into that part, I want to say, if you do choose to join me in this community event, if you choose to participate, I'm not gonna ask you to make any kind of video and put it on YouTube, nothing like that. What I am gonna ask of you, if you're willing to, if not, it's okay. Make an Instagram. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have Instagrams, but if you don't, make an Instagram. Um, Either take a picture or record like your setup and tag me in it. Experiment gardening, and use the hashtag Green Thumb Challenge, and that's how I'm gonna be checking out who's like participating. Um, this is all if you like, and I would like for you guys to participate. I want to do this year in and year out, and in the future years, I want to include um, different vegetables, but again within that same range of oh, it's easy to grow. So with that being said, let me tell you guys a few key features of what are you going to require, other than the materials that I will be talking to about later on in the video. But some key features that you're going to have to need is, in your household, in your apartment, wherever you live, find a place where you get 4 hours of sun or more. So the reason being is that most vegetables require at least 4 hours of sun or more. There are some vegetables that don't, but I'm not even gonna touch on that. Um, find about 4 hours or more. Uh, the second thing is that this is gonna be container gardening, so I want to do it container based because I want to include everybody. Not everybody has the space to make any garden bed like I do. So at the moment, right now, I'm not gonna touch that space. To show you how to do a garden bed, I'm not even gonna touch that. We're gonna strictly stick right now to container gardening. Again, that's how I'm gonna show you guys in the material section of the video. And last but not least, either order or you could go to the store and find yourself a bean, or you could get yourself 2 to 3 varieties of different beans. There are two kinds of beans you have to be aware. There are pole beans, like the one that's growing on the trellis, and there are bush beans. Bush beans will grow about the height of this sunflower, and it would just crop like that. The pole bean, which is my favorite, it will grow like this, and it will just need some support. So if you do choose to get a pole bean, make sure you do have some support. Again, the material sections will explain more about that. So with that being said, and if I miss anything, if you're confused about anything, let me know below in the comments, and in the future video I will try to maybe explain a little better. If you're confused also about any of the materials or any of the way that I'm going to do it, let me know down below in the comments. So I look forward to seeing who's going to participate, and happy gardening, guys. All right, so for the materials, well, we are going to need our beans, whatever variety that you choose to pick. And if you do choose to pick any kind of flower or a sunflower like I am, go ahead and get yourself these 2 seeds. If not, I would suggest just going with the bean. Now the other materials are gonna be your container. So my containers are gonna be a 15-gallon grow bag. Now you could get these on Amazon, and I'll leave a link down below in the description. And so I'll show you guys with the other materials the reason why I'm choosing this 15-gallon one instead of this 7-gallon one. The other thing that we are gonna need is, if you do pick a pole bean, you are gonna need some kind of support. Now I chose a pole bean, that's why I have this that I'm gonna try out. Never tried it out. And I'm also gonna do an arch style down the path in front of my house. So let me show you guys. I'm gonna be using an arch. So this is gonna be, so one 15-gallon grow bag is gonna be on one side, and the other 15-gallon grow bag is gonna be on the other side. So if you don't want to get any of these, I can show you another example. So you could use either some stakes like these, and you put them in like a teepee form, and you stick them inside of your container, or you could get bamboo and do the same thing. All right, so the next thing will be the potting soil. So for any beginner gardener that has never gardened, um, you don't want to use regular soil, regular topsoil, just because it's so heavy. And if you put it in a container, it's just gonna compact very heavy, um, and it's not gonna give your roots any room to go anywhere. So you're gonna start them off um, at a losing battle. So what I did, I'm gonna do two methods. So I'm gonna do the method that I bought a potting mix soil, and then the other one is that I made my own by buying all the materials. I personally think that it comes out a little better to buy the materials and then make my own because I get a little extra. But if you don't want to do that, I'm not a sponsor by anything. I'm not recommending this potting soil, but this was the most economical one for me and the most economical that they had at the store at the moment. Uh, I'll leave the prices down below of everything. So those are all the materials. So you need your seed, you need your container, you need some kind of structure to hold up your pole bean if you're gonna do a pole bean. If you're doing a bush bean, you don't need to worry about any structure to hold them up. And you're gonna need your potting mix, your soil, where you're gonna grow them. Let me bring you in and let me show you a small bit of how I did the rest of the potting soil. Okay, so when I mean by one part this, one part that, it doesn't matter. So that the way I take it is that if I use one of compost, one of these little containers, or if I use one of these containers, it doesn't matter. I have to fill this with compost, dump it. Fill this with potting soil, dump it. Fill this with perlite to the top, dump it. Fill it with peat moss and dump it. That's what I mean by one part each. So, for example, this is compost. So I'm gonna dump it there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and grab the same amount of topsoil, dump it there, and I'm gonna grab the same amount of peat moss. I'm gonna grab the same amount of peat moss, and my peat moss I leave it under the table, covered, just because I don't want it to get damp or wet. So same amount of peat moss, and then we dump it, and then we get the perlite, same amount of perlite, and then we dump it, and we are gonna just incorporate it, mix it together, make sure it's well mixed, and that's it. That's your homemade potting mix. And I'll leave below in the description the amount and what I'm using. I'll even leave the links to the things that I'm using, just in case. And all this was from Lowe's. I'm not sponsoring Lowe's. You could get it from Home Depot if you like, or if you find it at a different place, you could get the same thing. Just my thing is that it's economical. It's a lot cheaper than buying the potting mix. So let's go to the front yard and let me show you where they're gonna be. All right, so this is where I'm gonna be putting my green thumb challenge at. It's gonna be in the front of my house, and it's gonna be, this one is gonna be with the homemade potting mix. The one in front of me is gonna be with the potting mix that I bought from the store. And I pre-filled half of my grow bag with a little bit of compost, just because sorry, not with compost, with wood chips, with a little bit of wood chips, and just because it was a lot to fill on the 15-gallon one. So if you have enough potting mix to not put anything at the bottom, it's good. But personally, I put some wood chips just to fill up a little more and not use too much potting mix. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, fill them up with both of them. I'm gonna put the arch up, and then I'll show you guys the finished product. All right, so this is how it's gonna go. I am gonna throw some water first on top, and then I'm gonna plant my beans. Let me put some water on it first, and then I'll bring you guys in and I'll show you guys how I'm gonna plant my beans. We are gonna try to maximize our space here. And remember, I told you that I like pole beans because you could plant them a lot closer together and you could plant a lot more. So for example, this trellis is gonna be used as a support. So I'm gonna put some on this side, some on the middle, and some on this side, and then maybe one or two sunflowers on this side. So we could do one here, one here, one here, one in the middle, one here, and one here, and then we do one here, and one here. So now we have space for 9 plants. That is about 3 inches apart from each other in each direction. Sometimes, well, I don't follow the spacing on this just because trial and error on my part, but I have enough for 9 plants right now. So you're just gonna pop them in. Usually with beans, I only do 1 seed per hole. Some people do 2 just because they want a successful germination, but I've noticed that with beans you get at least 95% successful germination on everything. So after you plant them, we're gonna go ahead and cover them. And that is pretty much it. And like always, you know, I have to finish this video by thanking you guys for watching. I really do appreciate you guys. Don't forget to leave a like on the video, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one.